The business environment. This is a second of a series of flipped business studies 3 videos. At the end of this presentation, you should understand the external influences on businesses and internal influences on businesses. If a business can respond positively to internal and external environmental factors, then it can achieve its aims and to be profitable. Let's look at the external influences on businesses first. They include economic, financial, social, legal, political, institutional, technological, competitive situation, and changes to the market. Let's look at each one of these in turn. Economic influences on a business relate directly to the economic environment, which is dependent on the changes in economic growth. For example, other factors could be the change in the Australian dollar. Changes to the global and domestic financial markets will influence the cost of borrowing and therefore directly affect the level of investment by business, which is directly related to the amount of interest they have to pay. Geographic. Two major geographical factors that affect a business activity are: first, Australia's geographical location with the Australian Pacific region. This is the Asian century. The impact of globalisation, which is a process of people, money, goods and ideas moving around the world. We now operate in an increasingly global marketplace. Social and democratic. Democratic factors such as age, sex, income, cultural background and family have a profound effect on business activity. Social influences such as changes to fashions, culture, have the capacity to affect business sales and profits. Legal factors. Legal influences are the regulation, the legal framework if you like, within which in the business must operate. Federal, state, government, local council regulation, commonly referred to as red tape. As society becomes more complex, the more laws and regulations are introduced which businesses have to deal with, and therefore increasing the cost of doing business. Political. Political influences are derived from both state and federal government policies, which include taxation and the implementation of paid parental leave, for example, amongst many others. It can lead to changed circumstances and some business uncertainty. Some decisions are made to suit political ends and not made for social or for economic needs. Now, there are many institutions that businesses have to deal with. Institutions that influence businesses include government, regulatory bodies, and other groups such as trade unions and employer associations. Some examples include regulatory bodies like the Department of Environment, the Office of Fair Trading, employee trade associations, trade unions, and the Australian Stock Exchange. Look on page 62 for more examples. And of course we've got technological influences. Technological influences can increase business productivity and communication. We are in the digital age. For example, robots in the Holden plant in Adelaide and the opportunities presented by the NBN for data communications in Tasmania are two good examples. Now let's have a look at the competitive situation influences. Now these relate directly to other businesses who compete with our business. The things that can include competitive factors are the ease of entry into the market. So the easier it is to enter into the market, the quicker that we might have competitors competing against our businesses. For example, a web making business, you don't need much to get into business, and that can be set up quickly. Local and foreign competition that sell under the same market. Variables that influence whether businesses will compete in that market will depend on labour costs, transport costs, costs of raw material, and the value of the Australian dollar. Marketing strategies employed by competitors. This will depend on the size of the market, the size of the business, and the nature of the product. And of course, the number of competitors in the marketplace. The more competitors, the more competition, the better utilisation of resources, and the more cutthroat it will be. So therefore, prices will be down. One such example is the electronic retail industry. And markets. These can include changes in financial markets, as what happened in the global financial crisis, where the cost of getting finance has increased, and that's certainly the case today. The interest rate has increased, or is higher than it used to be. Changes in the labour market, how people are employed and paid. Recently we had the Fair Work Australia Act, which has changed the way that people are employed, and the balance between the balance of power between the employers and the employees have changed. Changes in consumer markets have been dramatic, with a rapid change in lifestyle facilitated by improved technologies and communications. Now what I'd like you to do is to check your understanding. First of all, the external environments. This is on page 9, question 1 and 2. And external influences, page 69 to 70, page 6, 7, questions 6, 7 and 12. Also, under competitive influences, there's an important section there, page 70, question 13, 16 and 17. So please pause. You may need to replay so you can consolidate the understanding by doing those questions.